YouTube, there is no firearms in this video.
Welcome back to the Loki Airgunner YouTube channel. In this episode we are going to talk about Beeman P17 maintenance. In the last video with the P17, I've tried lubing it with white lithium grease. This is what they recommend in the manual every 1,000 shots or so, or every year, I believe so, if I remember right. It did not seem to help it, but I suggest that you do lube it more often than I did to prevent more wear onto your seals and stuff. Hopefully the piston seal is my issue. This is the most easy to change. If it is not, we will have to take it fully apart together in another episode. So yeah, let's jump right into it. I will tell you guys what you need and maybe a few tips to make your life easier. I will be using this O-ring kit that I got from Amazon. It has a bunch of sizes, both in SAE and metric, and came with picks, which should be pretty handy for O-rings. For this repair, you will need a 2mm Allen key and a 3/16 punch. The Allen key is for the set screw on the top of the piston, but mine seemed to be loose. I could move the pin without undoing it, so yeah. I still gave it a half turn just to make sure, but I don't really think it was needed. It was pretty loose, so just keep an eye on that. After loosening the set screw, you can push the pin out. Then I suggest that you clean the piston if you want to pull it out, because I just lubed it and it was not really easy to do. Once this is done, you can pull on the piston. Just make sure to pull as straight as you can to not damage the seal even more. And then you can inspect the bottom of your compression chamber to see if it is dirty. Mine was very dirty. It had some black gunk at the bottom. I got my good old guitar arrow stick out with a towel and tape to clean that up, and it was pretty easy. I also used a bit of ballistol on top of the towel just to clean it up and oil it. This is the non-spray version. It is rubber safe, so this is not an issue. Removing this gunk will prevent it from ending into the valve and causing more issues later, so I do recommend that you clean it up pretty good. Just make sure to use something soft that will not scratch the insides of the compression chamber, because this is where the seal will seal. If it doesn't seal, you did that for nothing, okay? Alright, so once it is clean enough, you can take a look at the air intake hole. If it is sharp, you could polish that with 1000 grit sandpaper or something like that. Something really soft that will polish and not just scratch the inside of your compression chamber. This little hole tends to kind of chew on your seal, as you can see on this one. I don't really know if this is my issue. We will figure that out today. A quick tip to change the seal without scratching everything: simply try to squeeze it before trying to jam the pick under it. This SAE O-ring kit should have pretty much what you need to fix a P17. The ones that we are going to take a look at today are the 116s and the 117s. In fact, I decided to try the 117 first because it is supposed to be a tighter fit, and I kind of prefer that to a looser fit. It did seem to be a bit bigger than the one I had on there, so that's a good thing, I guess. Make sure to clean the notch under the O-ring before installing a new one, because it was pretty dirty. Once you did that, simply slip the new one over the groove. Those are pretty soft O-rings, so it is pretty easy. It might be harder if you use harder seals. I don't really know if this is needed for a pistol like that. By the way, the fit of the 117 O-ring was a bit loose on the piston, but it might be because it is bigger overall, but bigger in the inside diameter too. I am now lubing it with Plum Shop silicone grease. I had used the white lithium grease as recommended in the manual last time, but now that I cleaned it up and I will not be mixing two different lubes, might as well try something different. As long as you use something that is good for seals, it should not be a problem, but make sure to not use something that will cause some binding with metals. Silicone oil is not really recommended for that usually, but this is some grease, so it should be fine. Once you got it lubed up, you can put it back in. Try to align it before you do, and try to align it also to be straight with the compression chamber, not to mess up your brand new seal. You really don't need to push it very far in since it is in the opened position. Basically, what you're trying to do is to line up the holes for the pin to go back in. Once you got that halfway decent, you can try to put said pin back in. If it doesn't work, you can always use a punch to center it. This is what I had to do because it did not want to go for the last bit. I pushed the pin back out with the punch, wiggled it in there a bit, and it was really easy after that. So you shall not need a hammer, basically. This is what I'm trying to say. Once you did that, you can tighten the set screw that was not tight at the beginning on mine. So you might want to check that from times to times. Talking about pins that you might want to check from time to time, the side pin is also a bit risky to lose in the grass, so make sure to check your pins. Alright, so once your set screw is tight, technically you're pretty much done. Hopefully it will work better than it was at the beginning. I will be using Crossman pointed 7.4 grains to test it. 335, 357. 347. On this one, I had a little technical difficulty. I believe this is my fault though. I need to close it harder. $374. Oh my god. 358. 358. 356. 366. 367, 362, 360 front flip. Oop, might need a little slap. Yep. 366, 365, 367. 367. This is not exactly what I was hoping for, but the breech o-ring doesn't seem to be my issue here. I'm still missing a fair bit of velocity, around 30 maybe 40 FPS, which seems to be about what I was missing in the last video, which means this won't be the last video, so let's make an outro. Yeah. Alright, so changing the piston seal is pretty easy. Sadly, it did not fix my velocity issue. It still is shooting pretty weak. In a future video, we'll take it fully apart, take a look at inside of the valve, and maybe change both o-ring, maybe only one. We will take a look at that together, and I will not stop working on it until it does shoot again in the 400 FPS range. I want to say a quick thank you to Airgun Source for supporting the channel. Make sure to check them out if you need any of that. A huge thank you to you for watching and liking this video, subscribing, doing all of that. I hope you did that at least. And if not, I hope I will see y'all in the next one.